One of our favorite dishes when we order Chinese delivery is what's called a farmhouse stir fry. It's simply some sliced pork belly stir fried with some green chili pepper, sometimes with black bean sauce, sometimes without, but very tasty and goes extremely well with some rice. Now, when I looked into making it, it's a rather complicated process because of what you need to do the chili pepper. You slice them and you cook them at relatively high heat with a dry wok. A, to blister the skin. B, for them to evaporate some water content so that they become slightly wilted. With a restaurant burner, that's not an issue, but for the home kitchen, the smell and the smoke, you're much better off ordering it. But I realized what the Hunan cuisine is doing to the green chili pepper. It's not dissimilar to what the Italians do and mass produce for their salads. So here we have literally fresh from the supermarket, torched and roasted green pepper. You can order online at any Italian stores nowadays. And to make the pork belly part of the dish easier, we simply have some frozen pork belly slices that are made for hot pot. You can find this in any Asian supermarket nowadays. And these two, one frozen, one preserved in oil, they last almost perpetually, or consult whatever date it says on the packaging. Turning this from a very complicated process to one of the easiest weekday meals you can ever make. So let's do it. Medium-high heat, non-stick pan, and fresh from the freezer. I mean, you want to defrost it a little bit so you could move them. We add our pork belly slices without oil because you want the pork belly to render out their fat, and you do them in batches to make sure they form one even layer. Once they've rendered out some fat, we can bring in some heat so that they start to caramelize. And because these thinly sliced pork belly for hot pot, they're so thin that you don't even have to worry about overcooking them. And for the much bigger pieces, just to make sure they're all bite-sized, you can simply take a pair of scissors and cut them in half, kind of like Korean barbecue. It's much easier to do this when they're cooked, so you don't have to deal with raw meat scissors. Beautiful. And now we're getting the caramelization. Now, optional step before adding the chili peppers. We tilt the pan and we push everything to the side. And you skim off as much or as little fat as you desire. Because remember, the peppers are marinated in olive oil. So by adding them, you're adding some oil back to the dish anyway. And of course, you can always add the fat back to the dish if you desire. Perfect. Now, we lower the heat slightly. Open this beautiful jar. Grab a sieve. Everything comes out. Go straight in. And remember, the chili peppers are cooked already. All you're doing is emulsifying the flavors a bit. You might have noticed, I did not season the pork because this is relatively salty. But the very last moment, a dash of soy sauce for some seasoning and for some extra umami. Look at this color. Once the soy sauce has seemed to disappear, that's it. That's plate. Honestly, weekday meals do not get easier than this and do not get tastier. And that's it. 2 ingredients that you could keep almost forever and the world's smallest dash of soy sauce. And this finishes cooking before you can even finish cooking your rice. This is my farmhouse stir-fry hack. I really hope you enjoy.